So this girl that I'm about to show you had a situation where she had a good friend who was more popular than she was, like better looking, and she stole the girl's phone and sent text to a boy that this girl, whose phone it was, had a huge crush on. And it was like, I'm lying naked on my bed, I'm about to take a shower, I'm thinking of you, things like that. Girl still doesn't know that it's happening because she thinks the phone is lost. When she finally gets the phone back and finds out what happened, here's what she said to me. I kept asking, why me? I had so many emotions, I was worried. I tried to think about what I could have done to make them do this to me, and I really didn't move on. I wanted my friends back. I don't like admitting it now, but after I found out it was my closest friends, I think if they'd been nice to me the next day, I probably would have taken them back. Now let's talk for a second about you hate one of your children's friends, okay? I'll be more mature about it. You think they're a bad influence. It's not a good relationship. Many of us have bad relationships, and we don't wake up the next morning and decide, oh, this is a terribly dysfunctional relationship that I have to end right now, and then you do, right? It takes a while for us to end relationships. So when you have a child who's in Maya's situation, she comes home and tells you, or you find out about the phone, and you were really mad at her because she lost the phone, and then you find out this thing, the counselor tells you, whatever, this is what I would do. You don't ask her a million questions. You don't freak. Right? You freak like in the room, like you go to the hallway and you're like, I'm gonna kill that kid, I'm gonna kill that kid, I'm gonna kill that kid. Then you close the door, you walk over to your child and you say, I'm really sorry this happened to you. Thank you for telling me. Together we're gonna think this through. Now Maya might say to you, I'm gonna tell you this, or I'm gonna tell you this stuff that's happening, but you have to promise not to do anything, say anything, anything. If you have that happen to you, I suggest you say something like, I would love to make the promise that I wouldn't tell anybody, but I can't. Because you might tell me something that I have to go, we have to go figure out who can help us solve this problem. But here's what I can promise you. I can promise you that if we do need to find somebody else to help us, you and I are gonna figure out who is that person. We're gonna figure it out together. And I can promise you that I am never gonna bring this person in and you won't know. Because kids don't like that. And the reason they don't like it is for a very good reason. They have to deal with the consequences of this conflict way more than we do. They want to feel that they have some control and ownership over this dynamic. When kids shut down and stop talking to you is often when they feel that the ownership has been taken away from them. So what you're doing in this moment is you're showing your child that it is okay to be upset. It is okay to ask for help from somebody on the outside. There's nothing embarrassing about that. It's actually a capacity, it's a skill. And that you are literally teaching them the skills of thinking through what is the criteria that I need in this situation to help me fix this problem or address this problem. Truly, this is an opportunity to show your child how to calmly walk through a difficult problem. All right, now, but it's not that easy actually, right? Next day you come to pick up your kid at school, right outside, and Maya is best friends with that girl again. And you are like, are you effing kidding me? Right? Like, I am not over how much I hate this girl, and you are. Like, what kind of passive kid am I raising that people are gonna like run over her? This is like a serious problem. This is like, and then you start really, like your anxiety starts like her whole life. She's gonna be this passive doormat. This is awful. I'm sending her to this school so that she does not become a passive doormat. What is happening? I hate this, and I hate that girl, right? So this is what I would do. You see the kid after school, don't say anything, even if you haven't seen them socializing with the child you hate. Later that night, sit down on the bed. If they are like 10 or 11 or older, I would turn the light. If the light isn't off, like do it when the light's off. Sit down at the bottom of the bed and say, hey, I just wanted to check in with you about the thing that we talked about yesterday. Your kid could say, I'm good, don't worry about it, right? Let them say that. Say, okay, it's just important, what happened to yesterday and what we talked about is really important to me. Why do you think it was important to me? Ask them. They're gonna say whatever the answer is. This conversation should not last more than 3 minutes, 2, unless your kid wants to talk to you, and then you stay. And then what you do is you kiss them goodnight, say I love you, and you walk out. So you're just planting the seeds, again, of like, I see you, I'm checking in with you, this is a process, we're gonna get through this process, and we're managing ourselves through it. So imagine if you came home from an end of a very hard work day and your child was waiting for you with like super beady eyes, like, so, how was your work day? Did you answer all of your emails? How about that person who sabotages you all the time at work? Did you handle that? Do we need to role play that? Because I read something in this book that I think will really help. So let's do that right now. Do you want to do that? You don't want to do that. In my case, you want to have like one bourbon, healthy, and you don't want to talk about the issues that you've been dealing with all day. And then there's this person who, yes, means well, but is sitting there being like, let's talk. So what I would suggest is that when you see them at the end of the day, and this is again about, do you want your children talking to you about the problems that they're having? I don't care if they're 6 or if they're 16. That you see them at the end of the day and you say, hey, love you, some kind of I love you statement. At the end of the night, again, in their room, you can say, hey, I just want to check in with you if things, that things are okay. The reason about lights out is because when kids get older, 12, 13, 14, 15, if they're upset about something, they can cry, they can have tears coming, and you won't see it. And that's not like this pathological need not to show you their upsetness. It's that it's sometimes being in the presence of your parents can upset you, and this is actually a good thing, meaning that you're with your parent, you're feeling vulnerable, but it's an overwhelming feeling of feeling vulnerable, so you need to sort of protect yourself a little bit. This is not a bad thing. It's just that you're trying to suss out all these feelings you're having, and you're feeling them very intensely. And your parent, if you have a good relationship with your parent, then when they are interacting with you and you're exposing yourself this way, it can be very overwhelming. Sometimes the darkness gives you a little bit of security of just being able to be in the space with your parent and be upset and not feel like it's overwhelming.